So at the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, infections in prisons were increasing at an alarming rate. With a fifth wave looming and a new subvariant in our midst, inmates and prison officials who are unable to social distance are once again vulnerable. Let's unpack the story for you now. We're joined by Deputy Minister for Justice and Correctional Services, Nkosi Phathekile Holomisa, who will be visiting prisons, in fact, in the Northern Cape today to assess their state of readiness. Deputy Minister, it's great to talk to you this morning on such an incredibly important issue insofar as prisons and COVID-19 is concerned. On your visit today, what will you be looking out for to assess the state of readiness at that particular prison?
Well, of course, I shall have to satisfy myself that we do have functional infection prevention and control committees in all of our centers in that province. We shall have to ensure that there's proper screening during admission of new inmates, and also when the remand detainees are coming back from the courts where they meet a lot of other people. We shall ensure that there's space enough for quarantining those who need to be quarantined and also those who need to be isolated. We shall also have to satisfy ourselves that there's a separation of new admissions from the general population of our centers to make sure that they do not infect each other.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we've had 4 waves of COVID-19 so far. How have our prisons fared in the past 4 waves?
Well, you've experienced a decrease in the number of infection cases. We have a decrease in the number of infected inmates as well as the number of infected officials. Mm-hmm. And we've also had a decrease in the number of deaths for both inmates and officials. We believe that everybody now is aware that there's a need to take care of ourselves. And in the week of the 16th to the 22nd of March, we had 441 officials and 393 inmates were vaccinated. 1,291 inmates and 41 officials received J&J booster doses, with 1 official receiving a Pfizer booster. So out of a total of 39,855 officials in our establishment, 23,164 have been vaccinated thus far, giving us 58.12% vaccination. Out of a target at 127,443 inmates, a total of 113,375 have been vaccinated, giving us 88.17% vaccination. Mm. So this is encouraging.
Yeah. So
take care of themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in a context where government has always emphasized that vaccinations is our first line of defense, certainly yes, the number, insofar as inmates is concerned, is encouraging. Are you happy with the number insofar as officials is concerned, 58.1%?
Well, we would be happier if there were more than that percentage of officials getting vaccinated. We continue to encourage them. Our wellness officials are busy making sure that our people are encouraged to take the vaccines.
Mm. I mean, our prisons around the country, not just in the Northern Cape, where you will be visiting today, Deputy Minister, our prisons are overcrowded, in particular insofar as COVID-19 is concerned and the importance of having ventilated areas and keeping a safe social distance. It's difficult, isn't it? And I'm sure it has been difficult over the past 2 years.
It is difficult because the inmate population is increasing. People are committing crime on a daily basis, and they have to be accommodated in spaces that are not increasing. It is not helping also that we have experienced budget cuts as a department, like all other departments, so that we can increase the spaces for the accommodation of new inmates in our centers. But we do our best. We, for instance, make sure that there are PPEs in all our centers and all our units, so that people have masks. There is sanitizer in every cell, enough for all of our inmates to be sanitized and ensured that they do have these face masks, which they are themselves making.
There are so many reports about inmates making all kinds of allegations about COVID-19 regulations in prisons and the lack of adherence to certain protocols, alleging, among others, you've mentioned now the issue of face masks, alleging that they receive poor quality masks and sometimes no masks at all. Insofar as this issue is concerned, Deputy Minister, you say that the prison inmates themselves are involved in the production of these face masks.
As part of their rehabilitation programs, we make sure that we teach them on how to make face masks for themselves as well as for officials. So it can be therefore that we would put either the inmates or the officials at risk by giving them masks that are not of good quality. So if there are lapses, then we make sure that that is improved.
Nkosi Phathekile Holomisa is the Deputy Minister of Justice and Correctional Services. Sir, let me thank you for your time this morning on the AM report. The Deputy Minister visiting prisons in the Northern Cape today to assess the state of readiness as all of us gear up for what officials are telling us will be a fifth wave of COVID-19.